We are now live.
Five, four, three, two, one.
Good evening. This is the Atlanta Citizen Review Board, and tonight's meeting is a special call meeting. Today is Thursday, January the 27th, 2022, and the time is 5:30 p.m. The ACRB special call meeting is now called to order. The purpose of this meeting is specifically to address and reduce the number of cases that are backlogged. This is our second meeting this week, and just like the meeting on Tuesday, the agenda is very abbreviated, consisting only of roll call, public comments, and then we will proceed with the case reviews, followed by adjournment. ACRB has had 24 virtual meetings to date and 8 virtual call meetings. This is the second special call meeting for 2022. Thank you all so much for taking time out of your busy schedules to listen in tonight. I know that some of you are following us on YouTube. Thank you for tuning in. Before we call the roll, it is very important to know that because this is a special call meeting, only a quorum is required to conduct business. The members present tonight have all volunteered to participate in these extra meetings, and special call meetings are in addition to our regularly scheduled monthly meetings. On behalf of the chair and I, we appreciate your time. Thank you. Since we do not meet quorum requirements tonight, I will be voting. We will get started with roll call. Dorothy Hurst.
Here.
Tamara Orange.
Good evening, I'm Tamara Orange and I represent the Georgia Coalition for the People's Agenda.
Dorothy Hurst, will you please repeat the organization that you represent, please?
Yes, I will. I meant to say it and then all of a sudden it went by me. My apologies. Dorothy Hurst. I was appointed by APAB representing MPU M through R.
Thank you very much. Leah Pulliam.
Good evening. My name is Leah Pulliam and I represent the Urban League of Greater Atlanta.
Thank you. Gloria Hawkins-Wynn.
Yes, good evening. Gloria Hawkins-Wynn. Appointing authority is Atlanta City Council.
And my name is Tracy McDaniel. I am your current vice chair, and I am representing our current mayor, Andre Dickens. There are 5 members present tonight. However, only 5 of us will be voting. As the presiding chair, like I mentioned earlier, I will be voting because we do not meet a quorum tonight. And we will move on to public comments. Staff, are there any public comments?
Madam Chair, we have 3 public comments.
Hi, I just want to let you guys know that despite these challenges that businesses are having during the pandemic, I think you guys are doing a great job trying to keep up with everything and getting information out to the community. So thanks and keep up the good work.
Hi, this is Jamida Orange, and I was calling because I'm disturbed that once again we're giving the police department the benefit of the doubt in situations, and I just think that seriously, I believe that we need to be reminded why this board was formed and the reasoning behind it. I don't want it to appear that I'm anti-cop, but I'm also, if a citizen makes the complaint and it is a legitimate complaint, let's not give the cop the benefit of the doubt. Let's give the cop the appropriate punishment that he or she deserves. The benefit of the doubt is what caused the uprisings from 2020. So I'm deeply insulted when we say, let's give the cop the benefit of the doubt as JQ Public. I mean, I would expect more from a citizens review board. I would expect more from people who were chosen to represent the citizens in this situation. And so I just think, that's just inappropriate. And maybe, a little history why the board, Katherine Johnson is the reason the board was established, because the cops gave the public a lie, and it took us a minute to undo the lie that they provided. And so, let's just not, let's be fair, but let's not err on the side of benefit of the doubt. Let's err on the side of doing the right thing. Thank you so much for allowing me to continue to call. You all have a great day, and I will talk to you either at another specially called meeting or at the beginning of February. Thank you.
Hey, ACRB, just calling in to let you guys know that like the website that you guys have, it's very informative. Keep the job up. Doing a good job. Thank you. Good evening. As a proud member of the Atlanta Citizen Review Board, I just want you to always remember we are here for the constituents and to make sure that any complaints brought to the board regarding our police officers and other law enforcement officials, that they have a fair, open way of presenting this information. And so we are here to help. So I'm excited to be a part of the Atlanta Citizen Review Board. Don't forget, we have outreach the first Friday of every month over at Greenbrier.
Madam Chair, I apologize. Correction, that was a total of 4 public comments, and that concludes public comments.
Okay, perfect. I believe that was the first comment. For your information, the first comment that was played from the newest member of the ACRB Integrity Street Team, Lily Jones. We want to acknowledge and thank Lily Jones for that comment. The street team is comprised of community workers who help us to get the ACRB message out to the citizens. If you want to be a part of the amazing street team, please call the main line at 404-865-8622. Once again, 404-865-8622. Thank you again, Lily Jones, and welcome aboard.
Vice Chair,
Proceeding.
Vice Chair McDaniel.
Yes.
This is Lee Reed, Executive Director. I just wanted to make a statement that we do have a quorum tonight, that the ordinance requires we have 5 board members present for the meeting. You would vote in the event of a tie.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you so much, Mr. Reed, for clarifying that. So we do have a quorum tonight, and I will only vote in case of a tie.
Yes.
Were there any other comments?
No.
Perfect. Moving forward. It is very important for everyone to know that the board's review of the complaint and the investigator's recommendation includes a review of a very detailed and comprehensive report, and the investigative file, which includes all evidence obtained during the investigation, such as statements, body-worn camera footage, medical records, radio transmissions, etc. And all of this information is gathered and organized by the investigation staff and received by the board weeks in advance of our meeting, which gives us ample enough time to thoroughly review the case file before voting. When the board sustains a decision, it is based upon the preponderance of the evidence standard, meaning at least 51% of the evidence shows that the alleged actions more likely than not occurred. Tonight, we have 2 cases to review. The first case is case number 20-030, Investigator Jackson reporting. And the second case is number 20-08 with investigator Tanya Richardson reporting. Our first case is case number 20-030. For this case, the first allegation is appropriate action required. The issue is the female complainant, alleged that on April 24th, 2020, APD officers Daniel Borderon, Walter Trish, and Sergeant Ryan Heald failed to take appropriate action in that they refused to arrest the individual who burglarized her home. The ACB recommends that based on the evidence, the allegation of appropriate action required against officers Daniel Borderon, Walter Trish, and Sergeant Ryan Heald be assigned a finding of exonerated. The investigation proved that the alleged acts did not occur, but were justifiable and within department policy. May I get a motion to accept staff's recommendation, please?
Vice Chair McDaniel, Board Member Hawkins Wynn is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Hawkins Wynn.
Thank you, ma'am. Move that we accept the findings of the staff's investigation.
Thank you, Ms. Wynn. Is there a second?
Vice Chair, Board Member Pulliam is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Pulliam.
Yes, I move to second. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there any discussion?
Vice Chair, I see no discussion at this time.
Perfect. Since there is no discussion, we will proceed with the vote. Dorothy Hurst, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tamara Orange, how do you vote?
Yes.
Leah Pulliam, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gloria Hawkins Wynn, how do you vote?
Yes.
And my vote is yes also. That concludes the vote. May I get the tally, please?
Madam Chair, out of 5 possible votes, we have 5 yes votes.
The motion passes to accept staff's recommendation of appropriate action required against officers Daniel Borderon, Walter Trish, and Sergeant Ryan Heald be assigned a finding of exonerated. Perfect. And we will move on to the next case, which is case number 20-080 with investigator Tanya Richardson reporting. The issue is the male
Madam Chair, my hand is raised, please.
Oh, yes.
Yeah,
Gloria Hawkins Wynn.
Yes, Executive Reed. Am I understanding that the chair does not vote, only votes in the issue of a tie? Is that correct?
Excuse me. Let's be consistent. Since the chair has already voted in that first case,
Yes, sir.
you have a quorum. Tracy, just continue to vote so that we have 5 votes going out. Okay?
Okay, perfect.
So let's just stay with what we're doing. We have a quorum regardless, but just vote just to continue with the way that we're going.
Perfect. So we will proceed with our next case, which is case number 20-080 with investigator Tanya Richardson reporting. The issue is the male complainant alleged that on December the 13th, 2020, APD officer Bennie Hardeman failed to, number one, adequately investigate his 911 call when he reported that an individual shot at him multiple times. And number two, failure to complete a report. For this case, the allegations are appropriate action required, violation of department standard operating procedures, and abusive language. And our first allegation is the male complainant alleged that Officer Hardeman failed to properly investigate his 911 call. Based on the evidence obtained during the investigation, the ACRB staff recommends that the allegation of appropriate action required against Officer Bennie Hardeman be assigned a finding of sustained. The investigation established by a preponderance of the evidence that the officer committed the alleged acts of misconduct. May I get a motion to accept staff's recommendation, please?
Vice Chair McDaniel, Board Member Hurst is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Hurst.
Madam Chair, I move that we accept staff's recommendation.
Is there a second, please?
Vice Chair, Board Member Pulliam is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Pulliam.
Yes, I move to second. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there any discussion?
No discussion, Vice Chair.
Thank you. We will proceed with the vote. Dorothy Hurst, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tamara Orange, how do you vote?
Yes.
Leah Pulliam, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gloria Hawkins Wynn, how do you vote?
Yes.
And as the chair, I vote yes also. And all the votes are in. May I get a tally, please?
Madam Chair, out of 5 possible votes, we have 5 yes votes.
The motion passes to sustain the allegation of appropriate action required against Officer Bennie Hardeman. Let's go to the disciplinary history. Tanya Richardson, would you please let us know what the disciplinary history is of Officer Bennie Hardeman, please?
Yes, Vice Chair, good evening. Officer Bennie Hardeman has been employed with APD since April 2019. Based on the officer's disciplinary history and APD's disciplinary grid, this is a Category A violation because the officer has no similar sustained complaints within the 1-year reckoning period. The penalty range would be an oral admonishment or a written reprimand, and the board could also recommend proactive corrective action such as training or counseling.
Perfect. Thank you so much. May I get a vote? A motion to recommend discipline for Officer Hardeman?
Vice Chair McDaniel, Board Member Hawkins Wynn is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Hawkins Wynn.
Yes, ma'am. As under Category A written reprimand and training on drafting of police complaints, police reports.
Okay, that's a written reprimand and training on SOP.
Yes, no, not SOP, but I guess SOP, but refresher training.
I'm sorry, I'm getting some feedback. Sounds like someone has a television on in the background or something. Could you repeat that, Ms. Hawkins Wynn?
Written reprimand and training on writing police reports.
Okay, that's a written reprimand and training on writing police reports. Okay. Is there a second, please?
Vice Chair, Board Member Hurst is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Hurst.
Second.
Okay. Is there any discussion, please?
Vice Chair, Board Member Orange is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Orange.
Yes, I think we need to get a little clarity because I thought we were discussing the violation for him, failure to properly investigate, and it seemed like the motion was about him writing a report. I know that's a separate violation, but he didn't investigate. That the issue we were initially discussing was him investigating. So what motion or what allegation are we voting on?
Are you asking for a friendly amendment to Ms. Wynn's motion?
Yes.
Okay, would you specify what you're requesting, please?
I'm requesting that the motion reflect the allegation that we are actually discussing as opposed to the following allegation.
Instead of writing a report, it should be training on
an investigation. performing
Okay.
a proper investigation.
Okay, perfect. Ms. Nguyen, would you like to amend your motion to clarify the training for the investigation, proper investigation?
Yes, essentially, when he failed to write the report, my thoughts was that was all inclusive of investigating. But she's right, there is absolutely, the second charge is more specifically regarding the report. So I agree. Written reprimand coupled with training on properly conducting an investigation.
Perfect. So Ms. Orange, was that a second on that motion?
I will unless Ms. Hurst wants to go and second. But I if she doesn't, I will.
Okay, since you already seconded, we'll go ahead and go with you to second to amend the motion for a written reprimand in addition to training on properly doing an investigation on the scene. Is there any discussion?
Vice Chair, Board Member Hurst is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Hurst.
Ms. Hurst would like to add the fact that I think we should include that the specific SOP around what we're asking them to be trained on. Going to what Board Member Orange was speaking of, and that is the APD SOP 3080 general procedures, and that is the one 4.3.1 deals with preliminary investigative work, and 4.3.7. Those are the specific ones that deals with investigating. So I'd like to have that in the record. We want to be very specific when we're dealing with training, what we want them to be trained on.
Okay, so that I'm clear, Ms. Hurst, you want to clarify that the specific investigation training is SOP 3080, section 1. Section
4.3.1 and 4.3.
I'm sorry, just a second. Let me make sure I have that first section right. That's section 4.3.1. Okay, and the next one is 4.3.7. 4.3.7. Perfect. So we're clear is SOP number 3080, sections 4.3.4, including sections 4.3.1. Perfect. Is there any further discussion?
I see Hawkins Wynn's hand is raised.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I think we started earlier conversation about being very specific with what it is that we are requiring, because a proper investigation may be far more inclusive than just those sections. I think I used it in kind of a broad term because it may involve crime scene analysis. It may involve the recovering of evidence. Again, I think earlier we refrained from it, but I'm okay with. I feel it's not inappropriate, but it may be not all inclusive of what proper and thorough investigation would entail once we start to really look at the SOP.
Okay, perfect. Is there any further discussion, please?
Vice Chair, Board Member Hurst is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Hurst.
It does include all of that.
Thank you, Board Member Hurst. Sorry for cutting you off. Go ahead.
It includes all of that and more.
Perfect. Any further discussion, please?
Vice Chair, I see no discussion at this time.
Hearing no further discussion, we will call for the vote. Dorothy Hurst, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tamara Orange, how do you vote?
Yes.
Leah Pulliam, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gloria Hawkins Wynn, how do you vote?
Yes.
And Vice Chair votes yes also. With all the votes in, may we get the tally, please?
Madam Chair, out of 5 possible votes, we have 5 yes votes.
5 yes votes. The vote passes to accept staff's recommendation of appropriate action required against Officer Bennie Hardeman be fined sustained. Perfect. Now we will go to the disciplinary history of Officer Hardeman. Investigator Richardson, would you like to add any additional information?
Madam Chair, this is Sheena Robertson. The board has to vote on the allegation, whether to accept staff recommendation or not. I don't believe that was done.
Oh, yes, we just voted, right?
That was for the first allegation.
Okay. I'm sorry, would you repeat that, Sheena?
The board just voted on the first allegation for the failed to properly investigate the 911 call. This is now the second allegation for failure to complete a report.
No, we haven't gotten to the second allegation yet. We're still on the first allegation, disciplinary, right?
No, ma'am.
No, you're on the second allegation now.
Okay, I'm sorry, I was on the wrong page. Okay. So we need to call for a vote on the second allegation of violation of Department Standard Operating Procedure. Female complainant alleged that Officer Hardeman failed to complete a report. Based on the evidence obtained during the investigation, the ACRB staff recommends that the allegation of violation of Department Standard Operating Procedures, specifically APD SOP number 3060, Section 4.1.6 against Officer
Feedback in my ear.
Bennie Hardeman be assigned a finding of sustained. The investigation established by preponderance of the evidence that the officer committed the alleged acts. Did you say you had made a comment? Did someone make a comment? Okay, perfect. So we will proceed with the vote. May I get a vote to accept staff's recommendation, please?
Vice Chair McDaniel, Board Member Hurst is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Hurst.
Madam Chair, I say that we accept staff's recommendation.
Is there a second, please?
Vice Chair, Board Member Pulliam is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Pulliam.
Yes, ma'am. I move to second. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Is there any discussion?
Vice Chair, I see no discussion at this time.
Perfect. Well, we will take the vote. Dorothy Hurst, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tamara Orange, how do you vote?
Yes.
Leah Pulliam, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gloria Hawkins Wynn, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes also. May we get the tally, please?
Madam Chair, out of 5 possible votes, we have 5 yes votes.
5 yes vote, the motion passes. Investigator Richardson, do you have any further disciplinary history that you'd like to share?
No, Madam Chair, the officer has no similar sustained complaints within the 1-year reckoning period. So this allegation will also be a Category A violation. The penalty range would be an oral admonishment or written reprimand, and the board could also recommend proactive corrective actions such as training or counseling.
Perfect. Thank you so much. May I get a motion to accept, to recommend discipline for Officer Bennie Hardeman?
Vice Chair McDaniel, Board Member Hawkins Wynn is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Gloria Hawkins Wynn.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Move that we consider a written reprimand and training again on properly completing police reports. I don't have the code section or the SOP, but Ms. Hurst may, but I think it would be also appropriate to add that section of the SOP, kind of consistent with the last issue that we dealt with, whereby we specifically looked at the SOP that supports that training.
Okay, that specific SOP that supports the training is APD SOP number 3060, section 4.1.6.
Perfect, thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. Was there any, is there a second?
Vice Chair, Board Member Pulliam is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Pulliam.
Yes, I move to second.
Thank you so much. We will vote. Dorothy Hurst, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tamara Orange, how do you vote?
Yes.
Leo Pulliam, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gloria Hawkins-Wynn, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the Vice Chair votes yes on recommending a written reprimand and training on APD number SOP 3060, section 4.1.6 against Officer Bennie Hardeman is sustained, and the recommendation. May I get a tally, please?
Madam Chair, out of 5 possible votes, we have 5 yes votes.
With 5 yes, the motion passes to accept the staff's recommendation for violation of Department Standard Operating Procedure against Officer Bennie Hardeman be sustained. Perfect. Moving on to the next allegation. Allegation of abusive language. The investigation also determined that Officer Hardeman directed numerous profanities at male complainants during their interaction. Therefore, the ACRB staff recommends that the allegation of abusive language against Officer Bennie Hardeman be assigned a finding of sustained. The investigation established by a preponderance of evidence that the officer committed the alleged acts of misconduct. May I get a motion to accept staff's recommendation, please?
Vice Chair McDaniel, Board Member Pulliam is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Pulliam.
Yes, I move to accept staff's recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Vice Chair, Board Member Hurst is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Hurst.
A second.
Thank you so much. Is there any discussion?
Vice Chair, I see no discussion at this time.
Being there is no further discussion, we will proceed with the vote. Dorothy Hurst, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tamara Orange, how do you vote?
Yes.
Leo Pulliam, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gloria Hawkins-Wynn, how do you vote?
Yes.
The Vice Chair votes yes also. May we get a tally, please?
Madam Chair, out of 5 possible votes, we have 5 yes votes.
5 yes votes, the motion passes. Investigator, do you have any further comments?
No, Vice Chair. Officer Bennie Hardeman has no similar sustained complaints within the 1-year reckoning period, and this allegation will also be a Category A violation. The penalty range will be an oral admonishment or written reprimand. The board could also recommend proactive corrective action, such as training or counseling.
Perfect. Thank you so much, investigator. May I receive a motion to request discipline for Officer Bennie Hardeman, please?
Vice Chair, Board Member Hurst is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Board Member Hurst.
Madam Chair, I recommend a written reprimand and training on SOP 2010 work rules 4.2.2 courtesies, where he can understand how to respect and receive respect when dealing with citizens.
Perfect. Is there a second?
Vice Chair, Board Member Hawkins Wynn is waiting to speak.
Vice Chair recognizes Ms. Hawkins Wynn.
Second.
Thank you so much. Is there any discussion?
No discussion, Vice Chair.
Yes, my hand's raised.
Yes, Gloria Hawkins Wynn.
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to ask Board Member Hurst if she would consider adding an additional a layer of counseling. Just seems like the officer just really misinterpreted this entire this misinterpreted everything that was going on. It was anytime you get gunfire and people that are toting guns and alleging guns, it seems like he did not really understand the seriousness of it. And he just seemed like he got overly emotional himself because he was cursing more than the complainant. I mean, they were both kind of going at it, but it's far super. So the question is, would you consider also asking that he get he submit to counseling, and that counseling being more psychotherapy, that he speaks with a counselor in assessing whether or not his temperament is remaining neutral when he encounters a situation like this?
So you're requesting that Ms. Hurst consider a friendly amendment to add that additional
Yes,
and
of counseling specifically targeted towards his improper temperament in the execution of this, and it manifested itself in his language. And he said his excuse was, I was speaking the language that he was speaking, which is absolutely improper.
Okay, Ms. Hurst, would you consider making that friendly amendment, please?
Not in this case, no.
Okay, she does not
I think
want to
just
make.
a refresher of the SOPs in a written reprimand is sufficient.
Perfect. So, Ms. Hawkins Wynn, would you still like to second that motion?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. We will, is there any further discussion?
No discussion, madam.
Perfect. We will proceed with the votes against the discipline for Officer Bennie Hardeman. Dorothy Hurst, how do you vote?
Yes.
Tamara Orange, how do you vote?
Yes.
Leah Pulliam, how do you vote?
Yes.
Gloria Hawkins Wynn, how do you vote?
Yes.
And the Vice Chair also votes yes. May we get a tally, please?
Madam Chair, out of 5 possible votes, we have 5 yes votes.
Perfect. With 5 yeses, the motion passes to recommend a written reprimand, also SOP training on 2010.4.2.2 work rules and courtesies. And I do believe that was it. The motion passes. Perfect. And that concludes our cases for this evening. We have just completed the business of this special call meeting. This was our second special call meeting this week. Our next regularly scheduled monthly meeting is February the 10th, 2022. And I hope you will consider joining us. Tonight, you have witnessed the board conduct the business of the citizen for whom we took an oath to serve. As always, to the listening audience, please don't forget the public comments line. Call us and let us know how we are doing. Your calls, your feedback is very important to us. That number is 404-546-7848. Once again, 404-546-7848. To our citizens and our new mayor, Andre Dickens, which is the office that I represent, Council President Shipman, City Council members, and all of our partners, stakeholders, and friends, on behalf of the board and staff, thank you for your ongoing support and encouragement. And before I adjourn, I'd like to thank the executive staff for being the glue that makes the wheels turn. And also, I want to thank the investigators for doing such a thorough job. And we want to thank APD Representative Lieutenant Masal for being present. And with that being said, may I get a motion to adjourn, please?
Vice Chair, Board Member Hawkins Wynn is waiting to speak.
So moved, Madam Chair.
Thank you so much. Is there a second?
I second. Board Member Leah Pulliam, I second.
Thank you so much. Before we go, just a quick question. Don't we have another meeting, an earlier special call meeting in February before our regular board meeting?
Vice Chair, this is Lee Reed, Executive Director. No, we do not. We have a review panel that will be happening on February 16th, I believe.
Okay,
So we do not
yes.
have anything else before the board meeting in February.
Perfect. And that is after the regular meeting.
Correct.
Thank you so much, Mr. Reed, for clarification. And with that being said, thank you all so much for your time and your patience. And we want you to have a good evening and stay safe and well, everyone.
Bye. Be well, Tracy. Bye.
Good night. Thank